See straight away, Kha'Zix, Thresh and Kassadin taken away. They do not want Kassadin played against them. We've already been told that one. Twisted Fate also, he has been banned out. So a lot of mid laners so far, as well as that support. Jarvan does get taken away. And the final one, are they going to let Shen available?
So this is the question here. We know Wicked does like to run Shen, so if they let it go through, it may be first picture. But there's a number of other champions as well that we could consider. Like we said, Froggen on Lux is there. Varus is available. Now, Varus is the most played AD carry in the league. He's been picked 47 times out of the 112 games this split. So it's a very, very good pick. But it does mean they've handed Shen over to Godbro, and I would not be surprised to see that locked in.
So we'll see if it does. Of course, it's over to the Copenhagen Wolves. Does mean Jarvan's taken away also from Svenska, and he's been running a lot of Xin Zhao. Tends to be his fullback champion on that one, so we could see those two champions locked in.
And Nasus. He also played Nasus a bit, but in terms of numbers, Xin Zhao is his second most played champion, and he's been playing Nasus a fair amount, especially during week 10. At the moment, Rumble is being sat on for Godbro, and this is going to be a first for us. We haven't seen him doing, playing Rumble this split, so that'll be stepping out of his comfort zone. What it also means is he's going to be initiation power again. We've been seeing Godbro playing Shen, playing Singed, playing those sort of tanky, beefy champions, and you can build Rumble that way, but he does tend to be a little bit more aggressive, ability power, damage focused.
We've also seen Rumble working very well in the hands of Wicked, and Kevin took it away from him. It worked very well for SK to take it away, Kevin on Rumble. So maybe they've been looking at that game thinking, okay, this is what SK Gaming did against Evil Geniuses, maybe we should go this route.
Well, also, we're coming into the playoffs, and teams have obviously prepared a lot for this matchup, so they would have been training against specific compositions. I know that Evil Geniuses have been scrimming against Fnatic, and the Wolves have been scrimming against SK, so they're not even revealing their tactics to one another's opponents. What we didn't mention that Zach was, slipping through. He was not banned. Snoopy's been very vocal about him when he was released, and for the very first game of playoffs, the secret weapon is in the hands of Snoopy.
Well, we'll see how well that works for Evil Geniuses. It has been used a number of times in OGN already over the last few days. It was used just this morning, in fact, as well. So definitely a champion. Najin Sword, we're using that one. A champion that a lot of teams have been looking at. And of course, we kind of expected it to come through. We thought maybe it's going to have a pretty high pick rate. It's definitely a champion of choice. He's been out for a month, of course, over on live server, so everybody kind of knows the tricks that you can do with him now.
Exactly, and when you think about his kit, the fact that he can jump, that immense distance with his elastic slingshot means the wither from Nasus is going to have zero impact on him. He's just going to be able to hop away. In addition, when he throws his ultimate on, he actually reduces the effect of crowd control, which means that he can jump over the equalizer and reposition himself in team fights very, very well. So we'll see how the Copenhagen Wolves decide to react to this. I wouldn't be surprised if they've anticipated this. Whenever, we were talking about Zach in the week, everyone's like, Snoopy will play him, Snoopy will play him. And if the Wolves feel the same, they obviously would have prepared for this eventuality.
We'll see how that counter works. Deficio, of course, looking like it's going to be Zyra for him, and the test on Ezreal, the champion really that they qualified with, both those support and AD carries. Of course, that could still be Bjergsen in the mid lane, but I'm expecting something different from him.
The amount of, area of effect crowd control right now from the likes of Zyra, with Nasus in there, with Spiritfire, with Equalizer, and then on the other side as well, I think it's going to be Deficio and Zyra. He's played a fair amount of her this split, and also the counter initiation that's going to offer. Once you see Leona going in there with Zach, you throw the ultimate in between the rest of the Evil Geniuses members, and you prevent them getting involved in the team fight. So I think this is their counter to that, gelatin jungler of Zach.
Cho'Gath looked at here. If that Cho'Gath gets locked in, that would mean it's Zach in the top lane.
I would be more inclined to think it would be Cho'Gath in the top lane in terms of survivability and sustain. He's not going to get bullied and pushed. He's not going to get bullied and pushed out by a Rumble. He's going to be able to use his passive, get mana, get health back. And Zach would have a more difficult time in terms of that matchup against somebody like Rumble. So that's where my instinct is right now. And Nivea, 7 games played for Froggen, 4 victories, and a mere 14 KDA. So if he does pull out the KDA in this matchup, it's definitely going to help Evil Geniuses.
So we'll see what the final choice is here. Of course, it's going to be against the Nivea. What will Bjergsen do against that? Could he go deep? Would he go? He could go an AD carry, that works against Nivea very well. It's something we've seen teams doing before, pulling the Caitlyn out or something in that mid lane. Let's see what he does go with, though. What are you suspecting? What is your heart going with? Bearing in mind, there's a lot of champions taken away from him. He could, of course, go for that Syndra, which he's used a number of times before, but I not so sure about it.
No, Syndra in this particular setup I don't think would work that well. It's going to be very difficult to insta-kill everybody, and you're not going to be able to burst Anivia twice. Once your ultimate is down, you're not going to get through it. If Ari does get locked in, we've seen how well Xpeke can assassinate people. When you get at that DFG, an Abyssal, maybe a Death Cap, and you can really chunk through people very, very effectively. So we'll see how this pans out in the mid lane. The key is going to be the early game for Bjergsen. He's gonna have to try and bully Anivia as best as possible.
Well, it may be a new haircut for Froggen, but it's not a new champion. He's back on that Anivia, but the bird is indeed the word. And we're going to see how it works out for him. It worked out very, very well last time. They let this one sneak through. Of course, that was against Gambit Gaming. They let it through. They thought they could deal with it. Backfired on them. Let's see if it backfires on the Copenhagen Wolves. Evil Geniuses, of course, they are the favourites, but only ever so slightly. You can get over to lolesports.com and vote, of course, who you think will win this game. It is definitely going to be a very tense one. And personally, I think this one could go all 3 matches.
Definitely. And at the way it's sitting right now, Zac is in the hands of Wicked, so it does look like he wants to play him in the top lane. I want to see how he decides to itemize him and build him against a Rumble, because I do feel like that early pressure that Rumble is going to offer is definitely going to, make him play somewhat defensively. But remember that he does do percentage HP damage, so he's going to hit hard, even if he builds very beefy and very tanky. So it's going to be an exciting matchup, one that we have not seen at all in the LCS.
Yeah, we're expecting that's basically double AP champions as well, both teams. So we're kind of back in Season 1.
This is full AoE. I mean, if you think about the combo of Leona locking people up, Varus ultimate locking up, then the ultimate from Anivia, the knock-up and the silences from Cho, and the knock-ups from Zac, this is just like a press R to win type of composition.
Which doesn't always work in our favour, but that's the way the teams look at it. Of course, Copenhagen Wolves are going to be the red team. We'll see whether the young upstarts, as I guess as it could be called here, against the more experienced Evil Geniuses works out. So level 1, looking like it's starting out, and looking like a bit of an invade possibly coming out from Evil Geniuses.
So outside of the grasping roots from Zyra, I feel like the level 1 battle for Evil Geniuses is significantly stronger, especially because they can chain so much CC together. Right now, Deficio, he's toying with his life, puts the ward down, and instantly killed. But they're going to know where every single member of the Geniuses are. Yeah,
they know they're going to have an invade here. Svenskeren can see them, and they are going to get that ward down in towards the Wraiths, gives them full coverage. They're going to try and get it in towards that bush, and that's exactly what they do. Mission successful for Evil Geniuses. They're going to feel that their early level presence has worked out for them. Of course, they do not know what's going on in their own jungle. They have no coverage down there. They have that single ward down by the Wraiths. But other than that, they could have been someone sneaking in the bottom. They don't know, which is why you're seeing all the pings across the map. But as we can see, it is fairly standard stuff between both teams. It's going to be a 2v1 in both lanes as well by the looks of it. So we'll see how that works out for Zac.
Well, I'm very happy to actually see the setup, and especially Snoopy going back to somebody like Cho'Gath. It is a little bit more in the terms of like a utility type jungler that he gets naturally very beefy and tanky, offers a lot of crowd control in terms of the knockups and the silences, and he's going to be able to help his carries, his solo laners of both Zac and Anivia deal more damage in team fights. So we'll see how his ganks work out in these early levels.
So we also see Rumble helping out, so Godbro's going to let Svenskeren take that blue buff. Oh, will he give him the blue buff? Let's see if he does give him the blue buff in towards that bottom lane. Meanwhile, Wicked, he's just started off on those wolves, and he's heading in towards the top lane. Doesn't look like the blue buff is going to be given across, so Svenskeren will be taking that one away, and Snoopy takes the red.
Interestingly, we've had a quick look at Svenskeren's rune page, and he's got 8% magic penetration, as well as 1 point in ability power. So we'll have to keep very close eye on how he builds his Nasus in the jungle, and Wicked's taking a lot of poke. Remember, if he does die, he's got that passive to come back to life. So a relatively, if I use the word safe, top laner in that regard.
It's only, of course, if his 4 bits of flubber get taken out. But Snoopy, he is taking down that blue buff. We'll see whether he goes for any ganks or whether he just goes to simply help out in that top lane. Ward down in the river. He's going to head instead back towards the Wraith. And you can see Crepo doing a great job at zoning out Godbro here. Godbro, he's been kept out of it a number of times. And I think back to last week's game as well. He was really well, pretty much kept away from the experience for a large portion of the time. And Wicked got quite a gap in terms of experience. And that is kind of what led them to winning that match. So we'll see whether that does happen again. As you can see, Wicked yet to get any CS, so he's really having
very hard. The one thing that does play into the Wolves' favor is that Deficio's range on Zyra is obviously going to be a lot more useful for harass and for poke, especially underneath the tower. And as you can see, the fact that Godbro is sitting under the tower, Snoopy's walking into position, but he's walked straight over a ward. So Godbro is going to be well aware of this. And a similar situation for Svenskeren up top.
Yeah, and already the fact that he has moved, he's looking towards that tri-bush, but you can see Snoopy's just trying to keep him at bay, and they're going to get some free work on them turrets. Svenskone, of course, doing the identical thing. So both teams effectively going old school, as it were now. It's not so new anymore, this tactic. It's something that World Elite really developed way in towards Season 2. And pretty much everybody has mastered as well from then on. So it looks like it's going to be both turrets, top and bottom, going down to the AD carries.
Yeah, a lot of CS being denied and, taken away from these top laners. And both top laners have a great way to impact team fights even without items. I think that Zach is going to be more impactful because his CC is a little harder, and it does look like Wicked's been caught.
Wicked has been caught, and he's been forced to flash there, so Svenskone doing a great job in the jungle there. Already keeping him well away from that one. Great denial working out between the two teams. This is kind of the progress that this tactic, this strategy has definitely transformed into. The fact they don't push the turret themselves, they let the minions do it, and they just farm in between the waves.
Exactly. You deny more gold and more experience from your opponent. And if there's somebody who's going to know how to deal with being denied and being camped, it will be Wicked. We've seen all throughout Season 2 the kill Wicked a million times strat and hope we can beat Evil Geniuses, or at the time CLG. So we'll see how he does, come back into this game. The 5 minutes on the clock, only 3 CS, and I believe that was only from the Wolf camp. So this will be his first actual minion of the quarterfinals.
But when that tactic was well developed, it was Evil Geniuses back then were CLG EU, the first team to really counter it properly, because they knew what World Elite were going to do in the OGN. I think it was the spring 2012.
Yeah.
And that's when they came up against them in the quarterfinals, so they knew exactly how to counter it. It may have been the semifinals.
Now take a look at this. The Tess is moving towards this bottom lane. If Crepo, he is level 3, so he'll be able to get the stun. The flash, and he gets him!
The flash comes in, he does manage to catch Godbro out, but meanwhile you can see Svenskone's coming around the back, so Evil Genius is going to have to back away from this one. Bjergsen also heading down the river. This is going to become a 4-on-3 very, very quickly, and that's a great rupture coming out from Snoopy, but will he be able to get away from this one? Bjergsen about to pop out the side. Can he land the charm? No! Flash comes out from Yellow Pete. Very well worked there, and the hail of arrows catches all 5 members of Copenhagen Wolves. First blood will come out. It's going to be Snoopy that turns around for it, but what will they lose across the map? Have Copenhagen Wolves thrown everything at this one? Let's look across the board. You can see in the mid lane, Froggen's pushing on, and, well, Wicked's getting a lot of free farm as well.
Yeah, Wicked's going to be able to pull himself ahead, and very importantly as well, Godbro didn't even get an assist on that, so no bonus gold going into Rumble's hands, so he's going to be even further behind. The fact that First Blood was given to Bjergsen, though, of all of the Wolves players, probably sings very well for them, but well played by Snoopy. He at least pulled the attention away, stopped the members of Wolves from even considering a further dive. If Deficio had got his grasping roots up again and, caught 1 or 2 of them, they may have gotten more from that particular engagement. So well played to only lose 1 member.
I mean, if you look at the two junglers, Svenskone versus Snoopy, they are actually very different styles of junglers. Snoopy has always been that that plays for Copenhagen Wolves. Be it him or Bjergsen, one of them will be making the kills.
And it's something that we've been saying, especially the last 2 weeks, that he's the playmaker for the Copenhagen Wolves. He's really the initiator that is, picked fights. When his Jarvan does get banned out, like today, we do see the likes of Godbro picking up a slightly more aggressive champion. Like last weekend, he played Singed, and, he was responsible for running into Gambit's lines and flinging them over his shoulder for fights. Now he's going to be playing Rumble, but he is so far behind Wicked Zach. He's 2 levels at the moment and 25 creeps, so it's going to be a very, very difficult lane for him going up against this new monster.
It's definitely a tough job for him. Now you can see it's 3-level difference. He's just hit level 6, so that ultimate will be available. So, well, Godbro is going to have to be really dangerous. He can dive the turret. He's a very strong dive champion.
Especially with Froggen. Take a look. Here's the fight.
He does manage to get jumping straight in there. The elastic slingshot will land. He's going to let bounce. He's going to try and get in towards it. Will he be able to finish him off, though? He can't catch on towards him. Froggen's holding up his ultimate. Will not land the stun, but one more shot will do it, and Froggen picks up the kill. It's 1-1.
Took them on a nice little walk through the forest, but the attention and the distraction that he's held. But once they secure this Drake, it will obviously play into their favor. You can see Crepo and Yellow Pete thinking about getting involved, but a 2 versus 3, or in that situation 2 versus 4, was never going to go well for you.
We do, of course, see Snoopy moving up towards the top turret, so it looks like they want to try and pressure down and maybe take that turret. No, he was looking for red, and red buff is not available because, of course, we saw that Svenskone did start off on the blue. So Wicked has a enormous advantage right now over Godbro. You can see it's level 7 to level 4. That's a problem. So what do? Did they leave him on the island in that top lane? Do they have to rotate the AD carries back towards the top? How are they going to deal with this.
So the key right now is how long that tower survives, because Godbro's going to have, I use the term very loosely, relatively safer farming once that tower's up to fall back to. But as you've seen in a moment ago, Froggen and Wicked, they can dive him. Once he hits 6, he'll be able to use Equalizer to try and CS and pick up some farm. But again, if we think back to last week, when he was playing Singed and he was shut down early, they rotated lanes to allow him to pick up CS, and I wouldn't be surprised to see something similar. They've lost that bottom tower, and the next wave that pushes up, they may let Godbro go and farm the bottom lane and allow the Test and Deficio to defend and to hold the top lane.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this may well actually be the first time we've seen Zac in that top lane. Normally he's been used as a jungler so far in the Korean scene.
Yeah.
I've missed the last 2 games because, of course, we were on air, and I don't know what's happening in the Chinese LPL right now. But it seems to me that this is definitely a new champion the Wicked's pulled out of. You know, a man that's always in the past been criticized for having such a small champion pool. It's good to see he's actually stretching straight out here.
And the thing that plays really well into their favor is that they were able to pull that one out in this particular matchup where even I thought he was going to be in the jungle. Snoopy was known for being a fan of Zac and liking him. So, you know, it's that psychological play that it puts on Copenhagen Wolves. We do see Yellow Pete and Crepo. They're very, very deep, but Deficio's just spotted them, and we'll see whether they can pick this fight, because this is going to be a 3 versus 4 at the moment, with EG having a numbers advantage.
Yeah, and you can see it does have Froggen coming up there, trailing up behind him. Here's going to be Bjergsen. Are they going to be able to get this turret dive coming in? The minion waves are not really with them. Bjergsen has gone back, and they've seen that already. Snoopy was trying to keep them busy. While this is all happening, the Test, he's down the bottom. He's getting free farm.
Yeah, but he's just trying to, you know, pull a little bit ahead. So we've seen some very good CSing from Yellow Pete. Crucially, Godbro still does not have 6. So if this tower dive comes in, nor does Deficio. So those heavy crowd control ultimates are not there and not available. This is a very determined Evil Genius is saying, we want this tower and there's nothing you can do about it.
True shot barrage comes across. Spirit Fire is down, but there's not a great deal because Crepo is quite happily tanking that one up and will walk away. So 2-1 in turrets to Evil Geniuses. That takes the gold lead. Just 300 gold towards them, of course, because Dragon was picked up by the Wolves. Meanwhile, Bjergsen in this mid lane does continue to try and push that farm, but you can see already he's still actually behind Froggen because he's just a machine on Anivia.
Yeah, and that free farm earlier from that, you know, bottom lane gank obviously set him behind as well. So, you know, very good play again on the map from Evil Geniuses. This is somewhat similar to how they defeated the Wolves last weekend, where even though gold and kills were very, very even, EG were just simply in complete control of the map and the lanes, and they pushed towers as and when they pleased. So this is good play from EG at the moment.
So we see a little bit of CS being given across, or rather taken by Deficio in that mid lane, and we'll keep our eye whether that continues. Normally it's something we do see with Zyra. They tend to go a little bit farmy, try and maybe get a Morella Nomicon in there, something like that, some sort of item. We'll see whether he does go that way. Meanwhile, Wicked, he's sneaking in towards his bottom lane. He could dive on the Tess here.
There's the Elastic Slingshot being charged up, and he just decides to pull it short and use it to CS. But at the moment, double check the rank on that ability. He's only got the single point, but it's got 1150 range, which is huge in this game. We might even see flyby Baron steals, flyby red buff steals when they do have Smite as well.
So we'll see how that progresses throughout the game. Let's have a look across the items, because a number of champions definitely starting to buy things here, and you can see Froggen, well, now he's got a good part of that Rod of Ages complete, so he may well go towards that one. He's building up that Tear of the Goddess, of course, as well. Meanwhile, looking towards Bjergsen, you can see trying to get a little damage as I watch Evil Geniuses. Looks like they're going to dive on towards this middle turret. I'm not too sure whether Copenhagen Wolves can defend this one. Looks like they try and catch on towards it. The Grasping Rio on towards Wicked. True Shot Barrage also comes across, but you can see just how tanky he is already. And Evil Geniuses with his 5-man push in mid, while Godbro tries to get that farm at top. He's desperately trying to catch up, but he's still 4 levels behind right now, Godbro, in that top lane.
Yeah, so he's going to make his way back down to the middle lane. Now he does have his ultimate available at last, so Equalizer will definitely play into their favor. A couple members of the Wolves being caught up by the Ruptures, and they've fended off 2 creep waves worth of damage, but I don't know if they'll survive the 3rd. Right now you can see Evil Genius is falling back through the river, and it looks like the Wolves actually want to pick a fight here, because EG are trying to steal away this blue buff. So there's not a lot of vision for the Wolves. They're not 100% sure this is going on. They can't see it with their own eyes.
Now they've got the wall in that bush. Of course, they can put the wall across as they've started to invade and take a little bit of resources away from the Copenhagen Wolves, but gold, of course, is very much even between the two, so we'll see whether they can keep on pushing that advantage that they are slowly growing.
Yeah, and this is the thing that we've seen from EG that, you know, has been somewhat lacking in their games, that if they're not in complete control of the game, they're losing. And in this particular situation, and again like last weekend, when they're setting the tempo, when they're setting the tone of the match, they determine who fights when and where. And you've seen how great Froggen's control was there at blue buff. He's like, look, use the crystallized wall to block off the entrance, and it was a free steal. It cost them absolutely nothing.
So let's look across the gold, see how it's spread across. You can see a big difference between Wicked and Godbro, of course. As you'd expect, Godbro didn't get that assist early on. That was really hurt, setting back a little bit there. You can see 800 gold behind. Jungle, very close between them, just 100 split between them. Mid lane's very close as well, despite that farm advantage, of course. Kill advantage is with Bjergsen, and that's just a 300 gold swing. 80 carries, so you can see it's actually the Test that has that advantage right now. It is only 600 gold, though.
The problem with the Test is he's not a particularly safe carry in that he can get away with Arcane Shift, great, but look at all of the mobility and CC from the rest of the Evil Geniuses. The Test was pushing this bottom lane, trying to get that, increase that gold lead further, and EG are just going to say, well, you're not there, we'll take this, and there goes Wicked for the fight. Wicked
launches himself in, the rest of the team weren't quite on the same wavelength, but look at it, he does have that ultimate available to just bounce away, and there is a giant creep wave coming along the top lane, which I feel Evil Geniuses, they're just going to back off and deal with.
So ultimate was burned, but it does have a 2-minute cooldown, so there is this sort of, engagement window that now the Copenhagen Wolves can use to their advantage. The fact that Wicked is that far ahead, but now his ultimate's not available, means that he's actually behind. So we'll see how this pans out, because Wicked is spotted in the top lane, and Wolves, they have timer, positioning, vision, and control for Dragon.
And they are on it. It doesn't look like Evil Genius is going to be able to do a great deal about this one, because they knew it was there, and Wicked, like you mentioned, he'd already gone to clear out that top wave. And of course that does mean the gold stays very, very close between the two, despite the advantage for Evil Geniuses being 3-1 up in turrets. They do keep in it with that. Let's see how it works out though. There is the advantage still with Wicked, and we'll see how that tends to grow between them. It is only three levels at the moment. It's 2 levels now.
10 to 8,
I
yeah.
can see 10 to 8, yeah.
So level 10 for Wicked. He's about to get his 2nd rank in Let's Bounce, which is going to be very, very crucial, especially in these bigger, longer, drawn-out team fights. But in terms of items, the fact that he hasn't spent that money just yet, it doesn't really equate to all that much. You can see the Haunting Guys on both players, but a Ruby Crystal and the Null Magic Mantle. Another big difference on the map is the 80 carries, because Yellow Pete is 20 CS behind and also 2 levels behind the Tessa's Ezreal.
So while those changeovers have been working in favor of Wicked, you can see it across, and he does come across, gets the steal. Svenskeren was waiting to try and give it across to the Test.
She's short.
Oh, his elastic slingshot didn't quite make it, but they didn't follow up on it. And Snoopy was there to cover them off, so he does manage to escape with that red steal.
So, yeah, they were trying to delay that for the Test. He obviously got there a little bit late, and Wicked's like, oh, sweet, thanks, bro. I'll take that, no problem. So with red buff in his hands, that's obviously going to help out in terms of applying some more CC, and crucially, he's just hit that 2nd level ultimate. It is off cooldown as well, and you can expect Evil Geniuses to have some very good team fight presence if they can get Let's Bounce to hit up multiple members. Right now, though, Wicked, he hasn't hit too many people while bouncing around the map.
No, not too many so far. Yellow Pete, he's trying to gain some level advantage, see if he can get back and try and level things off between them. This is, of course, the first game of a best of 3. Remember, this is the playoffs. Evil Geniuses versus the Copenhagen Wolves. And remember, the loser of this game does fall into the summer promotion series. Relegation is actually a factor for one of these teams.
It's going to be very scary. We said in the intro to the show that it could be the 2nd to last series of games you play in LCS. 2 very, key items have been just completed for Evil Geniuses. First of all, the Spirit Visage for Wicked Zac. So every time he picks up those little blobs or chunks on the floor, he'll be regenerating even more hit points, as well as having the cooldown reduction and magic resist. And also, Boots of Swiftness plus Alacrity for Froggen. So he wants to be very, very mobile, that extra, movement speed, and obviously reducing the effect of slows from his opponents. Right now, EG, they're just sieging yet another tower.
Yeah, and Godbro's not anywhere near this one, doesn't have teleport, isn't on his usual Shen, which was available throughout this whole match, and didn't choose to go towards it, but instead, and he's going to get Chain of Corruption caught on towards him. You can see the bouncing Wicked comes in and picks up the kill on the turret. I don't think he was expecting that one.
No, not at all. He did not anticipate all those ultimates, but when you've got the kill, and now that they've got, additional presence and pressure, Evil Geniuses have great vision here in the bottom half of the Copenhagen Wolves jungle. So they were trying to set up a very sneaky gank, sneaky kill, but wisely, Defisha uses one of those plants to get some vision. But what it does mean, blue buff respawns, and they're just going to take this one as well.
They shall take that one away. He gets stunned up. Froggen's waiting for someone to do a little bit more damage to him. He's like, can I get it? an attention to have it. Anyone, just hit it. But instead, he does take it away. That's the second blue buff steal as well for Evil Geniuses. And remember, they took the red buff as well. So Copenhagen Wolves definitely hurting in the jungle right now, not being able to keep hold of their objectives. And slowly but surely, Evil Geniuses seem to be pushing this advantage more and more onto the Wolves. You can see, just looking at the wards, look across the map, it's all Evil Geniuses in Copenhagen Wolves jungle.
The amount of gold that they've got from Dragon is the only thing that's keeping the Wolves like in touching reach of cash right now in terms of Evil Geniuses. So we'll see when the Dragon respawns the next time how well the Copenhagen Wolves are positioned for that fight, because I believe EG had timing on it, which will mean they may actually want to challenge. What it also means for EG is they can't get lulled into the sense of being way ahead in terms of gold. They are ahead, but not so far so that they can pick any fight unwarranted. So we'll see how these next team fights go, because we still haven't had a big engage at all. They've pretty much just been picking on Godbro.
And thinking about that, if Evil Geniuses tend to let the games go long because that's how they play. They tend to be longer games. How do the team comps work out really for Copenhagen Wolves if they're all at level 18, all at probably 4 items, which I'm guessing they're all going to reach to, because this is just how this game always goes for Evil Geniuses versus Wolves.
As the likes of Varus, as we get later and later in the game, but he's going to be more mobile. But one of the big things you're going to have is Deficio Zyra is going to become a legitimate damage threat as he builds up more items, which Crepo's Leona is never really going to have that same level of DPS impact. They both have similar forms of crowd control. However, Zyra's going to be a bit more impactful. So as we get later and later, there's going to be more pressure on Deficio's play to make an impact in the game. Right now, Evil Geniuses, they've seen Godbro. He's alone in this bottom tower. Ultimates are available. They may decide to just pick on him for a third time. And this time, the suffering of Godbro may be the tune that they want to play.
Well, they thought about trying to catch on towards him. Luckily, though, that ward at the blue buff did give them prior warning, and Evil Geniuses couldn't quite sneak onto Godbro like they did in the previous encounter, so they do back away from this one. Evil Geniuses just continue to take that advantage, warding out the blue and backing off and purchasing their items.
EG have definitely done some, team building and boot camping at home, because they're holding hands so fantastically well this game. They have not left one another's side as a 5-man unit for the last 7 or 8 minutes, and they've been roaming effectively. They've taken buffs away, they've taken towers, they've picked up kills, and as we've said again, they're setting the tone, they're controlling the pace of the game, and as long as they don't make a mistake while in control, they should be able to continue pressing their advantage.
More importantly, though, they have let Godbro catch back up in levels. He's only 1 level behind now on Wicked. We'll see how that gains out. Chain of Corruption misses there from Yellow P. Didn't quite catch on, very, very close to the test. But instead, you see the Godbro, he's got Froggen pinning him off. He does manage to stun him down as well with that wall. Completely separates him from the whole team. And you can see that's forced the Copenhagen Wolves to come around and charge. Wicked's going to get dived on there. True Shot Barrage comes across, but he whiffs. It doesn't quite catch on towards anyone. Equalizer is available, goes down, and now Evil Geniuses, they're going to get dived on. Wither goes on towards Crepo. He seems to be the target. They dodge out of the rupture, but the stun comes in. They can see Crepo misses his ultimate on towards him. His back and forward action. Zyra does get caught. The ultimate gets on towards it. Crepo taking very low. Still no deaths right now. Oh, the flash comes out away from the stun of Froggen, and a very close engage. Ultimate's burnt all across both teams, but nobody going down in that engagement.
Froggen pretty much single-handedly won that engagement by stunning up both Bjergsen and the Test with that Flash Frost. What it forced the Test to do is flash to safety, and he was immediately playing defensive for the rest of that engagement. Copenhagen Wolves tried to make something happen, and they showed that they're willing to fight, but they want to fight on their terms. So great play from both teams, but it was a lot of abilities used for no reply. Dragon has respawned, and right now it looks like EG are recalling, but so are the Wolves. So that's probably going to be the next time these two teams fight.
Well, the Wolves have all backed off. Everybody that stayed for the Wolves has got full hit points. EG had to send a couple of members back, and they are coming back a lot slower, because you can see Froggen's going to go towards that top wave. He's happy to take the top wave out, which means Wolves will be in a much stronger position if they choose to go for this Dragon. You can see Yellow Pete, he's also heading down towards that bottom wave, so they're choosing to clear the waves out rather than go for the Dragon.
We'll see if they got vision on that shortly, because EG may not have the exact timer on it, so that could be part of the reason. What it does mean that everyone has pretty much reset in terms of health and ability. Have a close eye on those cooldowns, because it does look like Bjergsen's ultimate is about to come off cooldown. So is Krepo's. We may see a fight here. They've got Dragon low, and here can be G.
Chain of Corruption lands on towards Bjergsen. Tremendous spreads out very nicely. Svenskeren gets dived on. Can they keep the damage? No, they're going to turn and run straight for that middle turret. They've got an advantage. They're going to take that turret down.
Snoopy stole the Dragon. Snoopy got in there and stole that from underneath the Wolves' noses, and now they're going to jump onto this middle turret. There's no one from Copenhagen Wolves to defend, but the equalizer is blown. They hold the turret, but they lost the Dragon.
Very nicely played by Evil Geniuses, keeping the pressure on. Of course, that does stretch that gold. It's now 2,000 towards them. They are going to take away the blue buff once again, once they can pull it back to Froggen. Instead, did it actually get back to him?
Yes, it did.
Yes, just in time. So Froggen, for the third time, no, he doesn't. He doesn't have it. I didn't think I saw him hitting that one. I'm pretty sure it was Yellow Pete. Yep, there it is. Sure enough, on Yellow Pete.
So not too bad on, of all carries to go on, Varus, it helps a lot. Gonna get more of those hail of arrows out and those piercing arrows. Also, when you're stealing the blue buff away, you have timing on your own blue, and they'll just donate that over to Froggen. With the Dragon Steel and the pressure that EG have had across the map, they've been able to at least pull ahead in terms of gold. It's a 2,000 gold lead right now, and just a very brief pause between these two teams, and what's been a tense game so far.
Well, there is a problem on Bjergsen's screen at the moment. You can see he's typing furiously and trying to fix exactly what the problem is. His screen is locked, apparently, which is why he's got the admin stood behind him right now, sneaking in there, which is never ideal. So, 24 minutes into this game, let's recap over across it. It is 30.6 thousand to 28.4 thousand, which is, 36. It is obviously a 2,000 advantage for Evil Genius. And 3-1 in turrets, by the way, of course, as well. And across the items, you can see the fact that Godbro is behind Wicked. He's 149 CS to 95. So that's a big advantage built up for him. 1-0-1 for Wicked, of course, on Zac. I think the first series of a top lane Zac, maybe first of many, who knows. It seems to be working out very well against Rumble. Rumble, one of the champions that, of course, a lot of people in corrupted levels. He was 2 levels behind, but they are both back at level 12, and things are about to get back underway.
It just means all of this roaming has hurt the Copenhagen Wolves more. The fact that Bjergsen hasn't been allowed to just stay in a lane and CS is obviously the reason that he's so far behind. It does mean it's not too bad in terms of team fights. He's not going to have the same amount of damage, obviously, but because he's playing Ahri, he's going to be mobile enough to avoid a lot of the abilities that can come down from Evil Geniuses. Like we've seen in that last big engagement, he was able to get to safety and use that ultimate of his to dash in and out of the engagement. So we are back in the game. The pause has ended. We are resuming. And we'll see how the next fight goes. The fact that Dragon was stolen from Snoopy means they now have perfect time and control of it, as well as vision, which is something EG are doing significantly better than the Wolves.
Yeah, you can see, just look at the ward across the map. Very much a security net for Evil Geniuses. They have spy cameras all across the jungle as more wards go out there, and they're going to wait and see if they can actually steal someone away. Krepo's ready and waiting to see if he can stun anyone up that walks past here. He may well be able to catch a fish as well. See if anyone comes across. You can see Deficio, he wants to try and get a ward in towards that Baron pit, which they do have a ping ward in at the moment, so that's going to get spotted over the back there. Has got the Oracle himself and is clearing it out, but the rest of EG, they'll start collapsing in towards him.
So we'll see if he does get caught out. Wicked may have been able to use that slingshot of his to shoot himself into a team fight. Instead, EG are just going to continue roaming, looking for that engagement. Something that we see them doing really, really effectively is, of course, just they find somebody they can kill and they kill him. They're not afraid to use their ultimates and use their abilities. But we do see, again, Deficio with a great usage of those little plant turrets, getting vision and just telling the rest of his team where his opponents are. We have a 5 versus 5 engagement in this top lane, and to be honest, it can go either way. Whoever gets locked up by the CC more is going to be taking a lot more damage. But Evil Geniuses, they've got positioning and putting free damage. That's a 4-man rupture.
4-man rupture. Also, we saw Froggen just the wall appear down the bottom of the corner of the screen. Of course, he was trying to push in towards it, but they do go straight back towards that mid lane. And Copenhagen Wolves are just having to react to everything Evil Genius do. They're really pushing him around the map right now.
At the moment, the Wolves are too afraid to pick a fight, and they're playing so reactive that Evil Geniuses just have better positioning and better roaming. Every single time you're like, no, we don't want that one, we'll go here. No, we don't want that one, we'll go here. I expect the blue buff to come up relatively shortly, as well as it looks like they have stun Sven.
They do manage to stun Svenskeren there. A great wall once again. Froggen just separates the members of the team so well in Nibia. And if you actually look across really any other team across LCS, LPL, OGN, there's not really anyone else playing Anivia right now. It's still Froggen that's keeping it strong with that Anivia, despite being once again why Anivia is so strong. Look at the wall control. He just, yeah, the team's not going to get close to this one. They're going to try and dive it, but I don't feel this is a right move for Copenhagen Wolves. Chain of Corruption lands across there. Svenskeren taking very low, but also you can see a couple of members from Evil Geniuses taken low from that one. Yellow Pete had to get away. Bjergsen does manage to take down Wicked. They can chase this one down. They will catch on towards Snoopy. It's a double kill for Bjergsen. Can they continue chasing? His ultimate's already been used though, so they could just push down the mid.
Svenskeren got out of there with a sliver of life. He took so much focus from EG, and it just allowed the rest of the Wolves to focus the targets. They got the two tankiest members of Evil Geniuses down. They managed to pick up the kills. That's a double for Bjergsen and their second turret of the game. So a good fight from Copenhagen Wolves. They also defended their turret, which is very, very key. And it was just a matter of landing all of the CC and EG focusing Sven. As he was running away, they continued to try to kill him, and it just allowed the Wolves to, tear through the EG lineup.
So we'll see how that balances things out. You can see it's just a minute away from that dragon, so that is definitely going to be the next area of engagement for both these teams. They're going to stack themselves out and get ready to go for it. The top wave is being pushed in. Yellow Pete is going up there to try and deal with that one. So he's going to be having to make some moves across the map to try and get back in there. Deficio starting a fight with the Baron there with his little ashes, but that's obviously not going to take it down. And you can see both teams starting to position once again. They know the dragon is due.
So with the dragon, there's no vision right now. Both teams have almost all of their ultimates available, but Sven and Bjergsen are getting very close to that being up, as well as Wicked having Let's Bounce. So we're going to see another reset and a full-on 5-on-5 engage. This will be the first blue buff since their very first one that the Copenhagen Wolves will be able to pick up. And I think Evil Geniuses are aware of this because they're stacked up as 5 in the mid lane and said, well, it's going to take 1 or 2 hits to get your turret down. So they're just trying to force the Wolves' hands right now.
That's the first blue buff that Bjergsen's had in the entire game as well, yeah. So we'll see whether that makes any difference come the fight. Of course, he is going to come in. He's got that death by grasp now, so he has the ability to pop someone very low, very quickly. And it looks like Copenhagen Wolves, they want this fight. They're going to come around there. EG starting off. They're going to take the dragon down, but can they get taken away from it? True Shot Barrage does land across them. The equalizer comes down, but it's Svenskeren that's been separated. He gets dropped by Froggen. Oh, what a great chain of corruption coming out from Yellow Pete there, catching on towards them. Godbro's going to get hit. One more shot will take him down. Yellow Pete picks up that kill. It's a double kill for Anivia. They're chasing on towards it. The flash comes out from Froggen. He wants to catch on towards the Test. The Test flashes away from it. Bjergsen's desperately trying to avoid the rupture as well. But the Test, they all trying to back away from this one. And it's EG coming out on top. 4 for 3. 3 for 1, sorry. Where the hell did I pull from? 4 for 3 alive. That's what I was looking at. But yeah, very good fight for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, very good. And not only did they get the dragon, they're going to take this inner mid turret as well and decide to back away. So they've extended their gold lead to 3,000. It was just a matter of Copenhagen Wolves trying to force a fight that they couldn't really force. Equalizer was a little bit awkwardly placed. The Stranglethorns, while relatively good, didn't hit as many. And Wicked literally just bounced through every single member of the Wolves, knocked them all up, did the damage, and the rest of his team cleaned up.
Splattering away, and, well, we've said it so many times. You can't let Anivia through for Froggen. 3-0-2. He just gives him so much control in these fights. He just separates. You saw it, Svenskeren separating. You're dead.
And that's exactly the case. In terms of initiation, they need Rumble and Nasus to run in there. They need them to, walk straight through everything that Anivia is putting down to pick a fight. That's before you counted everybody else's crowd control. So the initiation power from Copenhagen Wolves is not as powerful as somebody like a Jarvan who can hop, skip, and jump his way into a fight. These guys need to run. What we do see is Wicked continuing to extend his CS right now, 194 to 115 of Godbro's Rumble.
It always looks like he's having fun when he's farming as well, doesn't he?
it's just Zach. Zach's awesome.
Zach's just a fun champion. Seems to be enjoying it in that top lane, but so many times Evil Geniuses, they actually stopped practicing with Anivia because, and actually tell a lie, Svenskeren's been caught out there. They stopped practicing because he wasn't allowed, because he got banned so much. But it seems to me that Evil Geniuses have managed to find the ground, but this time isn't going to be enough. The rupture comes down. We're waiting for Froggen off the backside there. There's going to be Wicked leaping into the fight, and it's going to be Yellow Pete picking up a kill. But this is back and forth action. The Wolves are doing pretty well here. Godbro is going to go down. It's a 2 for 2 so far. Can they get Wicked down? Bjergsen does manage to get that kill, but you can see as another member goes down, Bjergsen gets caught out. But it is going to be Tess now. Tess and Bjergsen versus Froggen. they're going to get away with it. So it was actually a very good engage from the Wolves.
Froggen's still alive, hiding around the bushes here. If he stuns up the Test is in trouble getting bursted, but there is vision there. The Test is going to go to safety. The key to that fight was the fact that Bjergsen came around from below the members of EG and put everything he had onto Yellow Pete. He bursted Yellow Pete from 100 to 20% HP and allowed the Test to close out that fight. And because the Test has the Infinity Edge and the Blade of the Rune King completed, he could just clean up from, behind the enemy lines because his opposite number was already dead.
Talk about the battle of the mid lanes. 503 versus 402. It is both Bjergsen and Froggen desperately trying to pull their teams into this one. Do not rule the Wolves out right now because it's 8-8, and that's been two good engagements from them, really, in the last two fights. It seems to be working very well for them. They're picking up the kills in the fights. If they can keep enough members alive towards the end of those fights, they can definitely push towers down. As it stands, though, it's 4-3 advantage for Evil Geniuses with that inner turret down in the mid lane, which is such an important turret. And that is really where the pressure keeps going on towards them. But just look at the Wolves. They were losing the red, they were losing the blue. They've not lost either for the last 10 minutes. They're keeping hold of everything in their own jungle, and they're starting to put the wards out across the map.
They're strong enough to fight now. That's the key. For the first 20 minutes, they couldn't pick and engage because they've been shut down so badly early on. Now that they've been given the time to level up, to farm, to get a little bit more involved, they can defend their objectives. We do see a couple more item pickups. Rylai's Crystal Scepter for Godbro, Warmogs for Wicked Zac, and another pair of Boots of Swiftness coming down from Cho'Gath. So once again, the mobility as well as the reduction of slows, they really want to, deal with whatever AoE slows are coming out of the Copenhagen Wolves. The positioning for the EG right now is very aggressive. Couple of wards sitting next to one another. They're going to come in from behind.
This is a mistake. They're going to rush. They're going to lose the middle turret. They're going to try and come from behind them.
So we'll see how this works out. EG have got a very good initiation team. Copenhagen Wolves were thinking about going for the turret. Now, neither team has vision on one another until this exact moment. As soon as the Wolves stepped into that river, they've walked past a pink ward, which Deficio has not spotted, which is crucial for them. And all of a sudden, Evil Genius is going to say, well, we'll take your blue buff, and then we'll go to the inner bottom turret.
And they're thinking about it. Snoopy should be getting in and tanking this. He's got the Runic Bulwark on. He should have enough to tank it down before Copenhagen Wolves get very close to this one, and that's exactly what they're going to do. And it's actually Crepo that does tank it out. So, another turret goes down for Evil Geniuses, making it 5-3. Very much a little tactical game going back and forth. They didn't really know who was where, and that's simply a case of Wolves not having the wards in any of the jungle, whereas EG, they've got wards everywhere.
Wolves have been slacking as far as vision's concerned for this game, and I think they're feeling the pressure of the gold deficit from early on. They haven't been investing in as much sight that they really need to be, and if they had had better vision...
Oh! Crepo actually went diving straight in towards that, nearly got himself completely separated off by Froggen's own wall. Everybody disengaging. Are Copenhagen Wolves feeling confident here? Chain of Corruption's already been fired off. They could try and chase it. They have got that ward advantage vision just there, and you can see they are trying to back away. Svenskone can't back away in a mid lane like that.
Equalizer is still available as well, so if they decide to pick a fight, that's going to be very key. Well played by Deficio to save his teammates and prevent that fight going south, because he completely zoned every single member of Evil Geniuses. What we also seen was Wicked using that slingshot to jump in, and then immediately going, oh no, wait, and flashing out, but they've got Froggen!
They've caught him out, and actually Froggen's been taken very low, but remember, he's got that egg, uses the Seraphs to just defend himself off there, but the Wolves are going to chase in this one. Bjergsen using that ultimate out there, he tries to come back in, and it's simply Froggen trying to go defensive duty now. They haven't taken the Dragon down, the Tessie's continuing the aggression, and they've forced Evil Geniuses away from the Dragon.
Brute forced it away, and like we said, that Equalizer was so important there. It shut straight down the middle of the river. It zoned out members of EG, it dealt damage, and more importantly, with the Rylai's as well as the built-in slow, it controlled it. What it signals now, Wolves are thinking about Baron. They're rushing up as 5. They have an Oracles to clear out wards, and the members of EG are coming back quickly, so they're not going to rush it. It's too risky a play.
Yeah, as soon as they saw that ward, they were like, no, we can't do this, guys. We are two dangerous positions. And the Wolves, they do check out, though, and clear out every little ward that was in there that Evil Geniuses had. So that security grid that Evil Geniuses had laid down needs to be reset. And it doesn't look like there's too many wards to be able to do that with. There's certainly no pink wards from Evil Geniuses, but they're around the Baron.
And look at this cheeky ward in the Baron pit there from Copenhagen Wolves. They can see every single member of EG. We're going to have to wait for Crepo to get in there and actually sweep the Baron pit. But because they're afraid to start it until they know where their opponents are, it does mean the Wolves are going to be in place to challenge. Snoopy is going to move up here, and then both Deficio and the Tess Why is he going to back away at the right time? But if they take too long to get back to this pit, EG can chunk that down quickly. Percentage HP on Zac, percentage HP on Varus, they can kill Baron very, very quickly.
They're waiting to see if they can try and steal someone away there, EG. Trying to be tactically defensive, but unfortunately for them, the Wolves had backed away. They'd already got them wards in. And wisely, Deficio didn't go looking for trouble. So EG do show themselves. There's a big creep wave along that bottom that's going to be pushing in towards the turret. Yellow Pete's heading down there to deal with that one. This may buy a lot of time for the Wolves here.
Now the Wolves, if they decided to go for Baron, it would take them a little bit longer, as they don't have that, you know, percentage HP damage right now. And as soon as Yellow Pete is noticed on the minimap right now, they may decide to rush it. You can see the pings and the positioning. What are they going to do instead? They may just want to try get some vision control.
Yeah, and they can't shove too hard because the fact that Froggen is in there on Anivia, they do get the wards in towards a deeper position. Krepo saw them going down. He has got that Oracle, so the rest of Evil Genius is going to try and get in and sweep it. We have seen this Baron dance before, ladies and gentlemen, many, many times, and often it's Evil Geniuses that are involved. And they said to me before, are you ready? This is going to be a long one. And I don't think they were lying.
Well, this is great. This is the first game of a possible 3, and it has already been this tense and this exciting. Evil Genius says they've stacked up as 5, they've barreled down this middle lane, they're on their inhib turret, and as they're about to just, you know, try force it in, well, we don't know where everybody else is, we're not sure, we don't want to get jumped on from the side, which is what cost them the fight near the red buff, and instead, wisely, they back away. The fact that Krepo's cleared all the wards means they're 100% sure that they haven't been spotted, and that plays into their favor.
Yeah, something we need to note is just how close these two teams are right now. The items, and you can see it's just about 1,900 gold between the two teams. That's not a great deal when you're looking at 50k across both teams. Blue buff, of course, though, will be taken away. That's a pretty big deal. Froggen's going to get that again. So far, Bjergs has only got that blue buff just once in the game so far. But Godbro, he's caught up. You can see he's behind in gold still. It's just about 2,000 between him and Wicked. But the levels are not so big. They are very close. In fact, they are both at level 16, so that's about as close as you're going to get.
And exactly, that 2,000 gold means a lot more in 15 minutes than it does at 40 minutes. You know, when you look in terms of their items, that additional gold that Wicked had actually saved him in that river engagement, it was enough to force Evil Geniuses away. Deficio has that Oracle's Elixir on. He's clearing out wards as well. In terms of items, he has 2 GP10s in his favor. If you look at his position as well as that as Krepo, he's got that Philostone and KG's lucky pick, which means he's going to become exponentially more powerful the longer this game goes. He's already 3,000 gold ahead, and that's immediately going to start paying dividends once he builds some more ability power items. Baron Dance has re-begun once again, and Froggen actually with the Oracles of his own, so got that extra money, got practically a 6-item build. Why not give your team that additional pink eye to clear the map?
Yeah, meanwhile, there's also Zhonya's Hourglass coming out for Bjergs, and if he can catch that, he is around about 3,000 gold down on Froggen now, because just look at the farm. He's closing in on 400 farm already, despite the fact they've been roaming so much. In fact, it's nearly 4,000 gold, 3,500 gold ahead. That is a big difference, despite the fact it's 503 and 402 for both him and Bjergs. And Bjergsen, of course, can't farm anywhere near as quick as Anivia can, certainly not when Froggen's on him. He is definitely keeping them in there, though. Hasn't been caught out yet. And once that Zhonya's Hourglass goes on, I feel he's going to be a lot more aggressive in the next fight.
Yeah, he's going to have the ability to just dash in there and obviously give himself that couple of seconds of invulnerability. Once again, we see EG trying this tactic of, pitching their tents, roasting some marshmallows, and just waiting for a little wolf to stroll into their camp before they can slay him down. But at the moment, Wolves have done well to mitigate it. They haven't actually wandered or face-checked the bush. And the one time that they did, Deficio actually saved Svenskero, and it was around this exact position. And we see both teams again setting up. This match rests on a knife edge right now, because either team have the ability to win fights. You see Wicked just being slowed up, but taking no damage there from Rumble at all.
Yeah, those harpoons didn't do a great deal, considering he's got a Rider's Staff on as well as a Leandris. That just did nothing. He's just so defensive towards that magic damage, as you would expect when there's 2 AP champions up against you. Svenskero, and he's into that ward. Very dangerous play.
Got to be so careful. Yeah, again, we see Deficio with the little seedling, gonna maybe turn that into a plant, get some vision. But we do see those Copenhagen Wolves. They're rushing this mid lane. They might go for the tower. There's no minions to back them up yet. But look at the positioning for Wicked. He's going to use the slingshot to come in from the side. This might be a fight.
He's going to see if they can force him away. It's actually been separated, though. And, well, Wolves took the only exit they had available to them, and that may cause a problem because EG now have the position to run straight up mid lane.
But it looks like the Wolves may want to pick a fight of their own. Gonna get that for Vision, and we'll see if they want to bait them into this one. Gonna decide to roll around the side. Now, Wicked, he broke my heart by not going in for the elastic slingshot, but